Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by Get Go Cafe and Market. Where right now, Dale, them sandwiches, they got lots of meat and lots of cheese.
And they're 7 inches long, not 6, so you get that extra inch in there.
All about the inches, baby. But let's talk about, you're about to go to Indianapolis to the NFL Combine. The new season is upon us. We got college recruits coming in. Of course, everyone wants to talk about what's the Steelers' biggest needs. So where are you watching closely, position-wise, about who performs?
Well, I think, Chris, the biggest things and the biggest needs that the Steelers are going to have are obviously inside linebacker, cornerback, or safety in the secondary, anywhere in the secondary.
You mean to tell me Cody Sensabaugh is not good enough?
Well, he's a free agent.
Yeah.
And then finally, wide receiver. I think it's pretty simple that they're looking for defensive playmakers on the back end.
Yes.
And the receiver position they're going to need to upgrade. I want to see, for example, at the inside linebacker position, how fast is Devin White? If he runs a sub 4.5 40, all of a sudden he's probably not going to be there.
Top 8 maybe?
Yeah, he's not going to be there when the Steelers pick.
Right.
If Bush is available, is he 5'10"?
Yeah.
Is he 5'11"? Is he almost 6 foot?
Yeah.
We don't know that yet. Typically, when the college measures these guys,
they're trying to favor their roster, how it looks.
For example, I was listed as a 6'3" center in high school. I had to stand on my tippy toes to get to 6'3", but that's
I was 6'2", 220 on my high school football roster.
They got the 220 part right.
Yeah, no, I was 190 at the time, sir. But seriously, in those little measurements, they may not seem a lot, but it helps you see what kind of a linebacker you are. Because if you're undersized, that's a problem in today's NFL because they need.
You saw it with Leighton Vander Esch, for example, last year, where he would get his hands up in the passing lanes. We've seen it with T.J. Watt dropping in the coverage. You can make up for that lack of size with your speed and instincts.
Yeah.
And Bush certainly checks off the marks there. But if he is, let's say, if he's 6'1", he probably doesn't even get to the Steelers at number 20.
No, there's no way. And here's the thing about Bush is that everyone's looking at him, everyone's looking at White. Those are guys that clearly people need cover linebackers in the middle of the middle of the field in the NFL. It's become ever more so important every year. I don't think teams are going to overlook players like Deion Jones anymore. And not that Deion Jones was too overlooked, but still, I think if people had known what kind of a talent would it be, he would have been a top 10 player, like I expect Devin White to be. But let's also talk about cornerback because that's a position where everyone's going to be looking at the 40-yard dash. Everyone's going to be looking at your shuttle because they want to see your cone drill. And they want to see how quick you turn and how your footwork shows off. Is there a sense that the Steelers, if they see a stronger middle of the pack guys or some speed guys that
ball skills?
That's what that's
skills.
it. That's it.
It's all about ball skills. I don't care if the guy runs a 4.6. If he shows ball skills and the ability to cover
way
people,
too slow.
That's the guy.
Okay.
Here outside Lecom Park, and inside this place, actually way more often than the parent organization, are our Bradenton Marauders. That's the High Class A affiliate of the Pirates. And do they have any prospects? Does anybody have any prospects in this system other than Mitch Keller?
They actually have maybe the most intriguing prospect in the system.
The Marauders.
Here in the Florida State League this summer. Onelli Cruz, who they got in from Tony Watson.
The Dodgers trade,
in a trade the year before last. He's a 6'6" shortstop, which if he would play shortstop in the big leagues would make him the tallest shortstop in Major League history.
Probably by about 6 inches.
Well, he takes the short out of shortstop. That's
I shouldn't say that. Troy Tulowitzki is like 6'4".
Yeah.
And Jordy was 6'3".
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't realize he was quite
long,
that tall.
yeah.
But he's hit for power. He has a really good arm. Whether he stays at shortstop at that size remains to be seen, but the scouts I talked to, I mentioned this in my Top 10 Pirates prospect story that recently ran on the site, they feel he has enough power and enough arm. He can play third base, he can play right field, and he certainly can play left field or first base, and he'll have enough power to play on those corners. So the sky's really the limit for this guy. He's only 20 years old.
Now, one thing that any disclaimer, anytime you're talking about power, I should say, in this particular facility, is that if you see big power numbers from anybody here, take them not with a grain of salt, but an entire canister of salt because the wind blows like crazy, and there are a lot of wind-aided home runs.
It is, and it's funny. You look at the farm system. Altoona's a very big ballpark. Indianapolis and AA, the AAA team in Indianapolis, also plays in a very big ballpark. So you see guys hit a lot of home runs here, and then those numbers go down, and your initial thought is, well, wow, this guy lost his power.
No.
He didn't.
All he did was leave here.
Yeah, he left the wind-aided Braden, and all of a sudden things are a little bit different.
You ever seen, of course you have, one of those pop-ups
Oh, yeah.
that just, like, the batter does this, slams the bat down, and starts, because he's upset that he hit a pop-up, and next thing you know, it's a full trot down the bases.
I've seen quite a few 16 to 12 ball games here on windy days. The ball just really flies out of here. Well, conversely, when the occasional time the wind blows in from the outfield, nobody can hit the ball out of this park because it is a fair-sized park. It's not a small park, but the wind makes it small.
All right, Dale, so let's flip to the other side of the ball. Let's talk about wide receiver. Now, we already said the Steelers, very unlikely for them to pick in the first round. But where do you see a comfortable spot with the current crop of receivers? I mean, we still haven't seen how these guys are going to test out, but the Steelers, we've been talking about this. They need a flyer. They need a guy that's going to stretch the field like Martavis Bryant did, like Mike Wallace used to do back in the day, but someone that's going to make safety say, okay, we got to stick on that guy because if he gets behind our corner, it's over.
Yeah, and this is the reason why when people mention the Steelers signing Golden Tate, even though he's the biggest name free agent wide receiver, he's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
That's what he is. They've already got Juju, who can play the slot, and maybe better served being in the slot.
Yeah.
You've got Ryan Switzer, and you got James Washington. Those are your three receivers right now.
Yeah, and those guys can rotate to the slot and be effective there.
So you need somebody to get down the field. Obviously, Metcalf from Ole Miss is a guy who's going to, everybody's going to be watching this guy. He's 6'4", he's 230 pounds, and not an ounce of fat on him.
Jeez.
So people are going to be watching that guy. His teammate at Ole Miss, they're going to be watching. Actually, there are three receivers at Ole Miss who are available in this draft. They're probably going to go in the first 3 or 4 rounds of this draft. But if I'm the Steelers, I'm looking for a guy potentially in that third
or fourth round.
Yeah, second, third, fourth round.
Yeah.
I'm not taking one in the first round. Depends on what picks they get back for Antonio Brown as well.
That's true, because the other option is that they don't get the high first pick, but say they get a low first and maybe like a third or a fourth, then you start to be able to play around like, okay, we could take stabs here and here. Because remember, Martavis Bryant was a 4th round pick. Antonio Brown was a 6th round pick. Now, of course, he's a unicorn, but you look at the different picks. Emmanuel Sanders, Mike Wallace, a lot of their picks have been third and back to boost that wide receiver. I don't see any reason why they don't look at this and they see some speedy guys that can beat people downfield. They think, hey, we can train that guy and get him better and make him a threat in the NFL.